Welcome back to Real Talk with Jeff Rutherford. Today on the 28 Day Project, we're looking at how the White House got its name. Now, the focus of this episode could have easily been on either of the two historical figures we're about to discuss. But the story really begins when then President Theodore Roosevelt invites Booker T. Washington to his home on October 16, 1901, to what was then called the Executive Mansion.
The Executive Mansion was built by African American slaves. African Americans served as servants for many previous presidents, but they were never allowed to dine with any white person, let alone the president. Many historians suggest that Roosevelt's decision to invite Booker T. Washington was political, while others say it was impulsive and based on its admiration for Washington. But don't be confused. Teddy was still in line with the racial thinking of the day. Roosevelt even wrote a letter to a close friend, Owen Wister, where he wrote, "Now to the Negroes, I entirely agree that as a race and as a mass, they are altogether inferior to the whites." Meanwhile, Washington had some pretty interesting thoughts on race as well. Even though he believed in the education of black Americans, he still supported segregation because he believed blacks were not ready for equality. Apparently, the purpose of the dinner was for the president to get some advice from Booker T. Washington about federal appointments in the South, as he wanted to reward some loyal Negroes at the time. Now, you would think that the president dining with someone who was not white would not be such a big deal to Americans. But again, the white supremacist roots of America reared its ugly head, and people began to react in an extreme fashion. By the time white Southerners got wind of the dinner the next day, Teddy Roosevelt was inundated with both hate mail and death threats. Even politicians like Senator Pitchfork Ben Tillman of South Carolina said, "The action of President Roosevelt in entertaining that nigger will necessitate our killing 1,000 niggers in the South before they will learn their place again." Even newspapers of the time had headlines like, "Roosevelt dines a darky," or "a rank negrophilist," or "our coon-flavored president." And that's just the tip of the iceberg. There were so many death threats against him, Roosevelt was forced to step up his own security, especially while traveling in the South. Even assassins were sent to kill Booker T. Washington at the Tuskegee Institute where he taught, and the assassins also followed him wherever he traveled. The pressure from racist Americans became so great that by the end of the same month he had dinner with Washington, Roosevelt issued an executive order to change the name of the Executive Mansion to the White House. Many historians believe that the name change was an attempt to appease the angry white masses who had been offended by a black man dining at the president's home.
So remember, the next time you hear the term White House, it may not be referring to the color of the building, but to the white supremacy of America's past. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow me on the links below. Thanks for watching.